Hello everyone and welcome back to English 1510 for the summer semester, 8 weeks for your A8120 section. This is going to be the week 2 overview. It'll be placed right here in the same spot where week 1 overview was, and remember that every single week, with the exception of this one because of the holiday, that the video will be posted here around, it's by 8 p.m. on Monday evenings, but I usually have them up around 6 depending on how much of your guys' content and commentary and feedback and stuff I've gotten through by those times. But remember that the overview for the week will always be posted here. I have a couple of housekeeping things to cover with you guys here at the opening of this week. First and foremost, I hope you guys enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend and had some time to celebrate and enjoy time with friends, family, and rest and relax. And then also able to get your first week of work done and submitted, which in this course, I posted that message yesterday that I wanted to leave as an audio. I left as an audio. If you're looking at the old screen, it had this announcement here with this audio message that was included. I've now taken that back down with the posting of this week's overview. But some of the things here, I want to make sure that I'm reiterating some of this because I definitely have in this class. This has been a little unusual this last 2 weeks with what's going on with students in here. I think I have some of you who the placement are choosing to take an online only course may have not been your best selection. Primarily some of you who already seem to not be able to adhere to communication policies and submission policies. I have students in here who week 1 already have not submitted the work. It's not uncommon to have 1 or 2, but to have 4 or 5 where you've accessed into the class, you know what's going on, you've touched base with some of the content things, but haven't completed anything. So those, remember that if I don't have gradable work, I have to process the end grades, I believe, by tomorrow afternoon. So those students will be removed from the course. This is all your responsibility to stay up on these things, folks, for a or an online only. The communication policy with the class. Make sure you've read through all of these different things on here, the comments about these different ones. I said at the start of the term, while we're contacting and making communications during the semester, use the D2L instant messaging here at the top of the page. You click on that envelope if you need to send me a message. You click on the class list at the top of it, and you just scroll down to Professor Martin or Benjamin Martin. You can get my name there and send me a direct message right here on the platform. No one else sees it. It goes back and forth between me and you and our own thread in the instant messaging. That's what that communication system is particularly for, especially in the online classes. For the emails, remember, I said that students should not be using the emails. Again, just in the last 48 hours after reiterating that announcement, I've had emails sent from students where the subject lines don't adhere to anything that was stated. This message that states right here, for all contacting messaging, this was up the week before the class started. It was in the preterm announcement and preterm messaging. For all contact and messaging, use the D2L instant messaging, the little envelope at the top of the page. If we need a communication via email, we can discuss that via instant messaging first. If emailing is deemed necessary, student must give the following information in the subject line. First and last name of student, course and section number, brief reason for the email. This is an example. Cindy L. Who, the class, section number, and then memoir question. So far, I've gotten 0 students to adhere to this in this class that have sent me emails, but several have sent me emails with hi or some brief commentary thing about something else that could be from any one of the courses I teach. Please remember, I teach a number of different sections. I teach a number of different courses and sections. I don't know which one you're in when you just send me a random message. You're one of 120 to 150 students at any given term, okay? So please be considerate to that as we're going through these. If you're an online-only student, you have opted for this type of a platform, indicating to us that you're the self-starter that can do all these things and follow along with just these overview videos and the instructionals and the drop boxes and the discussion board forums. Week 1, we had these minor things to do. I've moved week 1's overview down here under week 1. This is where after the week finishes, the overview for the week will be placed with its week, and the one for the most recent week will come at the top as it does here, just like last time. So week 1, you guys had the FERPA form and the academic honesty form that both had to be submitted by Sunday at 11:30. The diagnostic essay and then the discussion board post. Those were the 4 things that had to be done in week 1. These readings were basic. I know some of you still just got your textbooks. This all should have been review anyways for week 1. None of this stuff is anything outside of a typical K-12 review about general writing process. It's the readings we get into this week on week 2 that have to do with memoirs and some of the things in edit, revising, drafting, that kind of stuff that we get into. This is the stuff where it gets crucial. So if you don't have the textbook yet, remember your textbook information was all launched here. You can get it through the bookstore. You can get it through the online. I told students you can get these used copies. I still found more today for $6, $7. They're still available. You're going to have to pay more shipping. If you didn't get the book now, you're running a bit behind schedule, to say the least. This week, the only assignment that anyone has to do this week is the reading and then the summary and outline for the memoir. It's a very straightforward week, okay? I'll get to that in just a second. I'll talk about feedback just real quick. On these first forms and everything from week 1, I've already gone through and started entering all grades for these forms. I've started to go through on the diagnostics and read through the submissions on those and make a couple of comments there. Remember that with diagnostics, some of you will just see points and then a tutoring recommendation. There will be a recommendation that says YTR, your tutoring recommendation, YTR. That'll be in the Turnitin file. When you go into your feedback file, you go externally to Turnitin. So when you guys go through your submissions under your assignments, you go through those things, you'll see the feedback file. Click on that and review mine. Most of you, I included an audio message on those. I typically do, if I can, leave an audio message along with some commentary. But the main thing you're looking for is your grade and the YTR, the Your Tutoring Recommendation. Everyone for English 1510 has to attend one ASC tutoring session in the semester. That's required of the course and program. You can access that, as I said last week. Go under Student Services. Academic Support Center is here at the top. You can scroll down to the tutoring schedule. They have tutoring schedule aligned for each one of the campuses, and they have them both face-to-face and online for writing in ESL, so on campus or virtual, all different days. The way that you do it throughout the term is up to you, as long as I get a confirmation form sent from the ASC. So remember to tell them you need the confirmation form sent forward to your instructor. Now, with those tutoring recommendations, the thing I want you guys to remember here is everyone has to do the one that I will base off of the diagnostic when I finish these. That'll be sometime over this week that everybody will have those posted for them. The YTR will have a recommendation of 1, 2, or 3. 1 means you're just required that I'm recommending just the 1 for the semester. If it's a 2 or a 3, I make specifics on those. I tell you, I'm recommending you do more of the ASC tutoring while we're drafting and revising papers because you need more at the sentence level. Remember that this is not a grammar course. This is a comp course that deals with the actual content and focal points of the writing, not the sentence level skills that you should come to this class already with. So if you have a bunch of deficiencies in those areas, I make more tutoring recommendations. That's why we provide those services for our students. So if you get a YTR 2 or 3, just please make sure you pay attention to that recommendation so you know what you need to schedule throughout the term. I don't force students to do that. I give it as a recommendation, and then you get extra credit for every single one of the ones that you do throughout the term, including your first one. It's required, but everyone gets extra credit even for their first one once I get confirmation. So for the assignment for this week, all that aside now, we have the memoir summary and outline. If you haven't done the reading on memoir yet, make sure that you do, and make sure that you go through these pages and the other chapters. And make sure that you go through the Dropbox on memoir and all of its content. We have the Dropbox here, memoir summary and outline. Remember, you should be able to see all of the assignments in the upcoming schedule up through the 18th. The next ones will post at the end of this week. Going into the 18th, you'll have your next 4 weeks open up automatically. The upcoming events, if you don't see those, click on that so it's dropped down. You can see them. You can also always click on assignments and look through them that way. But here is the memoir summary and outline assignment. Dropbox is already open. There's an instructional video here that takes you through the assignment itself. Read through all of the instructions and make sure you pay attention to everything that's being stated. These down here are scenarios that are suggestions about instances of things that you might talk about in a memoir yourself. These might be qualifying situations for a memoir. Remember that the memoir piece is something that you're writing about one complicated situation. There has to be one problem that came up that needs to be resolved. So those instructions are all through here, the parameters from start to finish. The different pieces that are the handouts for this are included down here as attachments. The first thing you want to do is open up the rubric and make sure you read this over. The draft one that comes the following week, make sure that you do these pieces first, right? So read through this as to what's being recommended or what's being assigned on here as a prompt. General to specific layout of an intro with a lead-in thesis. Remember that your thesis statement, the main thing there would be give a thesis statement that hints at or foreshadows the complication at the end of body 1, but does not give it away. Body 1, this is your entire scene setting and storytelling. So think of this as your once upon a time paragraph. It should end with the complication, the problem that needs to be resolved. Body 2 is the evaluation and your reaction to the complication. Body 3 resolves the complication. In the conclusion, tell the moral of the story and explain to your reader what you've learned. Okay? Read that over on there. After you're finished with going through that and going through the instructional video and this assignment instructions in this Dropbox, this summary outline, this is the piece right here that's included down second, summary and outline, download that. You are to fill this out. Read all of these instructions. Complete this on this template in its full form. It all adjust for you as you do it. You can take this off and put your title of your memoir, whatever it's going to be right here, a working title. Give me a 250-word brief summary of what the story is you're telling and what the problem was that came up that needed to be resolved. Down here for these pieces, the outline itself, the intro paragraph, make sure you read all the instructions of writing in full sentences. In each one of these categories, you got general, specific, your topic, and thesis. Give me an opening statement for your general statement that gives context to the reader. Give a specific example that gives them an example of that context to establish. Then the your topic and thesis. These can be amalgamated. I have no problem with that. But remember this. General is so that as many people as possible can relate to your topic. Specific is so you get an example of that topic, right? If you're going to say, many kids often think they're ready to drive earlier than their parents are willing to let them go do it. For instance, and then you give a specific. For instance, my uncle did such and such. And then your topic. In my case, I was ready to drive when I was 15. My dad had a different notion, right? ... And then maybe that foreshadows your complication. In any event, make sure that on each one of these, you go through and you actually delete the samples that are there to write in your statement. Anywhere where there's an example, it's just there to give you an idea of what was included in someone else's paper. So a full sentence here, a full sentence here, one here, and then the thesis statement that foreshadows the complication. Down here, you're going to give your topic sentence that leads me into this body, and then I just need 5 sentences of plot details that takes me from right here to this topic sentence to your complication down here. What's the problem that came up that needed to be resolved? These must be full sentences. Just one a piece. Doesn't have to be more, but at least one a piece, okay? One full sentence of plot detail. If you get marked for fragment on this means that you don't know what a sentence is, and that's where the tutoring comes in double time for you, okay? Make sure that you understand those. Take out the topic sentence for body 2, give your beginning of your reaction to the complication, 5 body details, and then end in the impasse. Remember to delete the examples and put yours there. Same thing for body 3 of the resolution. Delete this topic sentence and put yours there. 5 body details. There's nothing else besides that here, and then you put your pieces for the actual conclusion. Those are the 2 main pieces for this, and then included at the bottom is a student example. If you go through this, you'll appreciate how well this was written by a student. This was a student in years past who wrote a very good memoir about a complicated situation they got into. And if you read through, you'll see that after the entire paper, I have it again diagrammed with the components that were used for the memoir scaffolding. So you can see where his student's complication came in, the reaction to, and all those different pieces. All right. I look forward to seeing the work. Keep up on everything. And remember, discussion boards are not optional. I had 3 of you didn't participate.